All right. Yeah, welcome to the Small Business Summit. All right. My name is Noel Booker, Noel A. Booker Sr. And so today we're going to do three different topics. First, we're going to work on QuickBooks Online Training. Then we're going to do business funding options. And then we're going to do the Business Credit Master Class on how to build business credit. All right. How you doing? All right. So, um, the first segment, what we're going to start with is the QuickBooks Online Training. All right. And what we're going to do today is go over all the different topics that's in the training that I'm going to be doing in September. So in September, we're going to go in more detail over the topics that we're going to cover today. Okay. All right, so today we're going to talk about QuickBooks setup, invoices and expenses, expense tracking, and the reporting. Okay, that's what we're going to do today. And we're going to go over all of that. Okay, so my website for my accounting services are at MediaNet USA. All right. And so my companies are MediaNet USA, where I do the accounting. We also do websites. And now I talk about business credit at businesscreditbuilder.us is the website for that. But today, right now, we're on MediaNet USA. So what we're going to do is start with the QuickBooks Online training, right? And the first part of that is QuickBooks setup. Okay. So when you're setting up your QuickBooks, okay, let me start by saying when you're a business, it's necessary to keep track of your finances separate from person. Okay. And and from the reports that you get, that's how you make good decisions on what to do with your business. All right. And you have to make those decisions based on accurate reports. Okay. So the information that we put in gives out reports that need to be accurate, right? Okay, so setting up. Let's start with setting up, all right? Setting up. Okay, so we're in this right here. Let me go over here. And the first thing we're gonna do is set up the company. If I can get the mouse over there. Okay, here we go. We go over here. This mouse. Okay, company settings. Okay, so what happened? Hmm. All right. Oh, it went out. That's what it was. It went out. Okay. Okay, so setting up your company. Oh wow, the mouse is not working good. What do you think? Okay, here we go. Is that you or me? That's me. This thing is working sometime and working some. Let's see, how can we get that over here? You want to move that over here? Ooh, I don't know. How's that's gonna work? Right. Oh yeah, I got much more better control. But I'm not too versed on this Mac. Oh, that's right. Ha. Okay, let's go back. Okay. Okay, so this is where you set up your company. You're gonna put in your company name, all right? How you scroll down this thing?
two fingers. Use two fingers to scroll down.
Okay. I like that. Okay. Okay. I should have did some Mac training before this class. How I go down further?
You use two fingers like this.
Oh, I got you. I got you. Okay, cool. Okay. All right, we're doing Mac training here. What happened? Okay. Like that?
Yeah, that's how you scroll down. Yeah.
Okay. So then you put in, am I on, I'm not on the right joint though. Hold on. Let's go back. I'm not on the right joint. Bear with me, y'all. We live. Mm, okay. This is where we need to be right there. And then go sample company. Yeah, that's what we need to be at. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So this is where you start, right? You start up here, you put in your business name and all that, contact info, right? Then we go down here to the legal information. Put in your social security number. I mean your EIN number, right? And you got the contact information and all that. I'm looking, oh, the piece I want to bring to your attention is the business type. We go into the business type and we're putting in mm, the different business type. You got the sole proprietor, the partnership, the small business corporation, um, nonprofit, limited liability, or you can put in that you're not sure, right? That's how you start on that piece. Okay. The next piece I want to bring to your attention is, let's see. Okay, chart of accounts. So what we want to do for the chart of accounts, hold on, let me close it. Okay. Now this chart of accounts. Okay. Now the chart of accounts is important. This is when you're setting up at the beginning of your business. So when you are making an expense or some kind of transaction at your business, let's say for instance, you are paying for you're paying for let's say you're paying for some postage, right? Now, how it affects your financials is it takes money out of your cash, and then there's the other side of that transaction is the expense. So you want to make sure you put it in the right expense, all right? So in the chart of accounts, you're setting up how you're structuring where your money is going, right? And that's the chart of accounts. So in the chart of accounts, oh, I didn't go to the chart of accounts, did I? Lists. Chart of accounts. I keep on messing that up, don't I? Bear with me here. I'm still getting used to this Mac. Ah, right. I think I'm clicking when I shouldn't be. Okay, lists. We go in there. Chart of accounts. Okay, yeah, this is the chart of accounts here. All right. So, in the chart of accounts, what I want to bring your attention is, well, the first accounts in the chart of accounts is going to be your bank accounts, right? Where's that at? Bank accounts. And then your accounts receivables, right? Those are balance sheet items, right? But what I wanted to bring to your attention here is the expenses, right? That's on the P&L. See, so all of these you would go in and make these accounts for your particular business. For this one, it's a landscaping company. You see up on the top left, it says Craig's Landscaping Company, right? So that's what these are set up in this sample company. So the accounts are set up for a landscaping company, right? So you see all the different expenses, right? Dues and subscriptions, equipment rentals, insurance, jobs expenses. So it's important to go through your chart of accounts when you're setting up your QuickBooks. All right. All right. The next thing I want to show to you is you got to connect your bank. Okay. You got to connect your bank. So let's see. We're gonna go to the bank account. Oh, oops. Oops, this should have went in. I'm messing up all the time. Sorry, y'all. I'm better than this on a PC. Okay, damn. You want to step in? All right, go ahead.
You get me, sir?
Hmm?
Okay, I think we need to.
All right, so now what we're looking for is the bank account. Okay, and let's go to chart of accounts on the left, right there. And then let's go in that bank account. Let's view register. Oh, no, that's not right. Let me come over here. I can see better. I'm gonna show you what to do. All right. All right. Yeah, this is better. Okay. So what we want to do is go to bank transactions. All right. Click on that bank right there. Right there.
This one.
All right. Don't click. Okay. Um. Connect accounts. Um. I think they're already connected. Let's see. Go to bank transactions.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
Okay. Oh, oh, let's go back to the chart of accounts. You know, to get there. Okay. That. Let's see. Review register on the bank.
For checking this one.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Next time I'm gonna have this better. Okay. I'm discombobulated here. Okay. Um, okay. The point that I want to make here is that we have to connect the bank account, right? In which what happens when you connect the bank account is the transactions that come through your bank account automatically feed into the QuickBooks, okay? And connecting the bank account is a couple clicks. I just ain't get it yet. All right. So connect the bank account. Okay, now we're gonna go to the next section. Invoices and expenses. All right. We'll scroll down here to invoices, which is gonna be in sales. Sales invoices. I did sales invoices. Boom. Okay. So invoice. Now we're getting into the nitty gritty, right? This is where you get the money, right? So you get a client, you got to set up your clients correct. And in QuickBooks, you can set up your client so that it automatically, whatever you pay for this particular vendor, it can automatically go to a particular account that we set up on the chart of accounts. Or every time it comes through, you can manually do it if you got different places where you're going to put that money for that vendor. Okay, so here let's create a new account, a new invoice. Create invoice. Right, create invoice. All right, so when we create an invoice, you can just go to the invoice. So we would go here to add a customer, click on that, and you would click a customer, just click any one. So then that customer will come up. You'd have your customers already set up in there. If you didn't have the customer set up in there, then there's a place where you could edit or add a customer. Okay. So then let's scroll down a little bit, and we're gonna make out the invoice. So in the invoice, we're gonna select the product, click right there, and then you would have your product list already set up, or you can set up a new product as you're creating this invoice. Okay. So this one got design, concrete pump, all different stuff for this landscaping company. All right, then you would put in the description, the quantity, rate, and then it'll automatically put the numbers out there for you, right? Now, one thing that's good about these invoices is that this is a new deal, is that you can accept credit cards by using the system they call payments. Normally, a business would have to go to a bank account and get a merchant account. Set up a merchant account. That merchant account's gonna cost you $50 a month, right? And then they're gonna charge you for each transaction on merchant accounts. With QuickBooks Online, you just set up your payments account, and you can accept credit cards without paying a fee. They take money on the back end, right? It's standard fees for a transaction, which is about 3%, right? So, and then what I do is tell the people they can pay with a credit card, or you can put down in here Zelle or your Cash App. All right, that's what I do, because they don't take off the 3% fee. Okay, so for people that's going to use a credit card, I tell them that they use the credit card option. So that's like the big thing for me, because I set up the QuickBooks Online particularly so that I can accept these online payments, right, like that. Okay, so that's a big thing for me. Okay. Okay, record bills, right? Okay, so let's come out of that. X out of that. Now, when bills come in, you got a bill come in, then you put it in your system. That way, there's reports you can do to see what your payments are gonna be in the future. I got these bills. What day are they due? All right. So I had a few accounting jobs and corporate accounting jobs, and a lot of my positions had a lot of accounts payable. So I would run the accounts payable report so we could see what we need to pay money on this week. Okay, that's a big deal for companies, right? You got to know what these bills are, right? And a lot of people do it off the top of their head, but when you have this, you put all your stuff in there and you don't have to rely on your mind, right? You have everything printed out for you. So there's reports that you can run. Okay. They said recurring. Okay, recurring invoice. So invoices that are going to be recurring. You can set that up when you set up these invoices. There's a button in there that you can click to have these recur, and you don't have to go back in there and do it all the time. Okay, and that's one thing about this online stuff now. Accounting, AI is taking over this thing. You see, so a lot of stuff is automatic, right? Okay, now we're gonna go to the next section. Expense tracking. Okay, let's go to transactions. Transactions. Okay. Transactions. Expense categories. Okay, so when the bank is connected, the transactions, you go and make an expenditure. The transaction is gonna come right here, right? $55. And it said, oh, the bank description says books by Jesse. You're gonna know what that is for. So then you're gonna come over here, click on that, and select the category for that, right? So you might put that in dues and subscriptions. You might want to put it someplace else, whatever that thing is. That's how you keep track of the money you're spending. So your reports are accurate, right? Okay, now we're gonna go to rules. Okay, so bank rules. Okay, so you see how these transactions come in here, right? Now you can create rules so that if a word in here or something triggers a rule, it automatically puts it in a particular place. Automatic. Okay, so sometimes the transaction from the bank might come through the system, hit a rule, and don't even show up here. It just goes into your bank, into your reports, because there's a rule that says anything that goes that says books by Bessie is gonna go to subscription. So we don't even have to check here and categorize correct. Automatic, right? Okay, so what we're gonna do now is go up to the tool thing on the top right.
This one. Oh, this one.
Right, yep. And we're gonna go to rules.
Yeah.
That's it.
Where's it? Oh, rules.
Okay. Go to rules. Right. Okay, so this is where the rules would be. And you would, let's see, create a new rule. Let's create a new rule real quick. Right, so let's put something in there. Jesse, put Jesse, books by Jesse or whatever. That's cool. And then you would say money out, right? Money out transaction from all bank accounts. From the text, you see, click on text, bank text. Yeah, bank text is good. The bank text consent contains, and then right there you will put books by Jesse. So anything that comes in that says books by Jesse, you're gonna tell it the expense. Come down here to the expense and say, oh no, not there. We know it's an expense. So then we go to the category. So anything that comes through the bank that says books by Jesse, we're gonna tell it to go to wherever we tell it to go to, right? So it automatically goes there, right? Don't have to worry about it. Next section is reports. Okay, so reports. Okay, let's go. Let's find reports over here. Let's see where reports. Oh, right here, bang. Right in front of me. Okay, so at the end of the month, when all this is done, there's another place that we're gonna have to reconcile that bank account, right? Well, reconciling the bank account at the end of the month is making sure that everything that came in, we categorized, we didn't miss anything, and that everything that we need is in that particular month, right? Once you reconcile, and we're gonna go into detail on reconciling in September's classes. So we're gonna be doing these classes on these different topics in September on setup, invoices, expense tracking, and reports in September. And you go to my website, businesscreditbuilder.us, and go to the events page, and you can see all the upcoming webinars we're gonna be having. Okay, so at the end of the month, we closed out the month, which meant we reconcile all the accounts and we made sure everything is right for everything within that time frame, right? So the reports you're going to want to see is the profit and loss. That's the first thing. That's the first report you're going to be wanting to see. Profit and loss, which is calculating how much profit you made in this time frame, right? So at the top of the profit and loss would be your revenues, the money that came in. So let's click on profit and loss statement. Let's go over that real quick. That's one of the first things you're going to be wanting to look at. That calculates profit in a particular time frame. So, on the profit and loss statement, they also call it the P&L. First things you have is the income. That's all the money that came in. You decided from your chart of accounts, these accounts, design income. So he does designs. You got fountains and garden lighting, right? That's the money he took in that he charged to those categories, right? Which you set up in the chart of accounts. See how important the chart of accounts is from the beginning, right? So then let's go down. So total cost of goods. Okay. So then we're gonna go down and the next part. We got the revenues. That's all the money came in. And then these are all the expenses. Okay. So you have the revenue minus the expenses. That's going to equal your profit that you made for that period. All right. Net profit. All right. So that's one of the reports that you will be looking at and make decisions on how to proceed with your business. Because you're going to be looking at these numbers and say, hey, we spent not enough on on accounting, well, 640. So you'll see and you'll know from your business when the numbers are not looking right. Okay. And then you're doing comparisons from the month before to the current month to see trends. And that's how important the reports are. Okay. Let's go over the balance sheet. Let's go back and go to the balance sheet. Reports. Yeah. Standard. Okay, balance sheet. The balance sheet records your assets, liabilities, and equity. So in accounting, this is a basic accounting equation. Assets equals liabilities plus the equity. All right. And you want to look at this every month. Okay, so the first thing is the assets. So it's going to have all the assets that your business has, your checking account. So you want to make sure that at the end of the month, that's what your checking account was. You see what I'm saying? And then you got your accounts receivable. That's the people that you sent invoices to, they didn't pay you yet. So that's still money getting ready to come in. Okay. Then you got other current assets. Down here, you put like inventory, or if you got furniture, you got trucks, or whatever you have, that's the asset. Buildings and stuff go in other assets. Let's scroll down some. Liabilities. Liabilities or stuff from your accounts payable. You put those bills in, those are liabilities, right? That's the current accounts payable. That's all those bills we're getting ready to have to pay, right? So you know that. And then you got credit cards, right? So you got credit card liabilities that's going to show up on here. Other current liabilities like tax liabilities, like you got employees, then you have regular tax liability, and it's going to show up here. All right. Now down here, we're going to go down some more. Oh, other long-term liabilities, notes payable. Let's say you got a loan or something. It's going to show up here also. Down here is equity. Okay. Equity is the money that you put in as the owner or investors put in. All right. That's what's going to go in here. And then each month, when you have a profit goes into retained earnings. So the retained earnings will go up or down every month, depending on what your profit is from the profit and loss statement. Okay. All right. So, in conclusion, having access to QuickBooks Online and reading your reports will help you make smarter decisions in your business. All right. We're gonna go over that more in September. All right. What time we got?
1:35.
Ooh, I did that in good time. All right. Now we go on to the next one. The next one is you could put on up the funding options, right? So we're doing 3 different topics. The first topic was the QuickBooks Online. Now we're going to talk about business funding options for your business, right? And then we're going to talk about business credit and how to build business credit in detail, right? So now we're getting ready to go over. We're going to bring up this spreadsheet. I got that. Cool. Types of unsecured business loans and cards that every business owner should know about. I kind of feel comfortable over here. Let's see if this thing works over here. Does it work? No?
It should.
Is it on? Let's see. All right. All right. Go to the next screen. Boom. All right. Y'all already know me. Noel A book. This is the contact information for my business credit website. businesscreditbuilder.us, right? Now, you can go to my website and get a free guide by going to the website, and there's a free guide button. And you get a free guide. You also get on my email list that'll give you a bunch of information, okay? If you want to talk to us about the services that we provide, you want a consultation on your business, where your business is, and how we can help you get to the next step, you schedule a free business credit consultation by going to businesscreditbuilder.us/consult. And if you think you qualify for funding now, go to businesscreditbuilder.us/get funding. Next slide. Okay, secured and unsecured finance. In the business lending area, there are 2 main types of financing. Secured financing. This includes money that requires some type of asset be pledged as collateral for the loan. Unsecured finance. This includes money that doesn't require any collateral for approval. All right, next. Unsecured financing is financing that is not secured by any collateral, meaning it's money that's unsecured. Nothing is pledged as collateral for the debt. If the borrower defaults, the lender can pursue the borrower legally and their assets, but they don't have the right to just take certain assets just due to the default, okay? 1 out of 5 businesses fail within their first years of within the first 5 years. 50% will have closed their doors. In 15 years, 75% of businesses will have closed down for good. Most, and this is per the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. All right. So the lenders already recognized it. They already recognize that businesses are high risk. All right.
The
But they
clicker,
don't have the right just to take any certain assets. Okay.
the clicker should work now.
All right. Yep. With secure financing, the lender would just take back the asset pledged as collateral, right? So those are low interest because they know they can get their money back. Okay. They know they can get their money back, so it's low interest, usually about 2, 3, or 4%, right? This helps them quickly get back part of their loss. Since the risk isn't as high with secured financing, borrowers can often get greater interest rates as low as 2 to 5%. Unsecured financing is the riskiest type of business lending because if the borrower defaults, the only way the lender can get back their loss is to pursue legal action. Okay, legal action can be very costly and not something any lender wants to pursue. This is part of why unsecured financing is so high risk and why some of the rates you'll see will be much higher with secured finance. Okay, let's go over some types of unsecured business credit cards. Most banks offer unsecured business credit cards. Now, when I say business credit cards, because see, a lot of banks have a card that say business, this is the Capital One business card. But then when you ask them who they report to, they say TransUnion. To me, that's not a business card. It just says business on the card, okay? It's just named business. It's a business card if they report to one of the business reporting agents, Dun& Bradstreet, Equifax, or Experian. Okay, those are the business reporting agencies. If they report to TransUnion, that's not a business card. That's reported to your personal. Okay, a lot of people make that mistake. They say I got a business card, but they don't know who they report to. Okay, okay. They all require a personal guarantee from you. You can get approval usually for one card at the most. Okay, because this is because they stop approving you when you have 2 or more inquiries on your report. Okay, so let's say you do qualify for a business card, they're not going to qualify you for another card at the same time that you got one already out there. Okay, here's a card. Chase Inc. Business Unlimited card. Now, when you pick these cards, you gotta figure out the different benefits that they provide for you. Some of them have 0 annual fees. Some have annual fees. Some have cash back incentive. Some have travel incentives. Whatever the incentive that's good for you, that's what you need to be looking at, right? The ones that's going to be good, beneficial to you. Okay, so that's the Chase Inc. Business Unlimited card. Here's another one by Chase Inc. Business card. This one has 0 annual fee, cash back, 0% fixed intro. So a lot of cards have the 0 interest rate for the first 6 to 18 months. Okay, and that's incredible for some people. You know, if you got something big to buy, you buy real quick. On 0 interest, that's saving you a bunch of money. Okay, so that was the Chase Inc. business card, cash business card. Here goes the Capital One Spark Miles Select for business. Right, it's another business card. Right, this one has purchase rate, 0 interest. You know, 0 interest APR for 9 months. Good, unlimited one time, 1.5 miles per dollar on every purchase. That's for flying, right? So that's good for flying, hotel, car rentals. So you got to pick which card is good for you. American Express Blue Business Cash Card. This one also got a 0 annual fee. Introductory APR for 12 months. After that, then you start paying your interest as high as hell, right? That's how it is. Because it's unsecured, they're only doing it based on they're not doing it on something secured, so they just rolling the dice on you, right? So that's why the interest rates are so high. Okay. Now I'm gonna tell you about our credit line hybrid program. Now this is good for, and you won't find this. I'm like a franchise from Credit Suite. You will only find this particular product with other franchises, like we call ourselves partner with partners, right? So the partners of Credit Suite have this product, credit line hybrid. You're not gonna find too many of us, right? So this product you will not find at many places. Okay, the credit line hybrid, and it's also a credit card stacking program. Okay, so typically when you apply for credit cards, you put an inquiry on your consumer report. When other lenders see this, they won't approve you for more credit because they don't know how much other new credit you have recently obtained. So they'll only approve you if you have less than 2 inquiries on your report within the last 6 months. Okay? So if you do this on your own, what this says is you're only going to get approved for 1 or 2. With this program, you can get approved up to 5 cards all at one time because we're systematically sending in these applications all at the same time. They don't know that you didn't apply for 3 other places. Okay, that's why this works. Okay. You can typically get 3 to 5 times the approvals you can get on your own. This is because they know the sources to approve, or sources to apply for, the order to apply, and can time that application so that the card issuers don't decline you for the other card inquiries. I've done this on my own, right? So this definitely works, okay? When I did it, they gave me 4 cards, right? They gave me 4 cards with about $6 grand on each one. So this is good for startup businesses that have good personal credit, all right? Okay, with the credit line hybrid, they get you 3 to 5 business credit cards that they report only to the business credit reporting agency. This is huge. Sometimes something most lenders don't offer or advertise. Not only will you get the money, but you'll build your business credit also. So when you get approved for the business credit cards, that's like a double whammy for you. It's double good because you're making a purchase, and when you make a payment, it increases your business credit, right? On these cards as well as the other accounts that you would get, okay? So that's a good deal. Okay, the lender can also get you low intro rates, 0 to 6, like you saw those other cards. They have the 0% APR for 6 to 18 months. Then you pay normal rates after that, typically 5 to 21%. And they also get you the best cards for points, meaning you get the best rewards. Just like with anything, there's a huge benefits in working with a source which specializes in this area. The results will be much better if you try to do this on your own. Okay. So basically, what this program is, I'm going to say it in my words instead of reading. You need a 685 or better, right? What they do is they look at your personal credit. They're going to look at your highest revolving account that you have, right? And then they're going to approve you for up to 5 cars that's going to match your highest revolving account limit. Let's say, for instance, you got a Home Depot car. There's $30,000 limit on it. What this program will do will get you up to 5 cars with $30,000 on. Okay? There's pros and cons to this. The pros is you get access to this money in 3 weeks. The con is they're gonna charge you 10% once you get the car. So you don't pay no money up front. Once you get the car, then it's all approved, they're gonna charge you 10% on whatever you got. And then you can pay that with the car. You see what I'm saying? So I tell businesses that use this is that if you do use this, and in any business loan or anything, when you get this money, they want that money back. So you should be getting this money. Let's say you get a loan for 100,000. You need to make that 100,000 turn into 200,000 so you can afford to pay 10,000. That's what they're gonna charge you to get access to this money. Okay? So I tell people, you're gonna get the money, double that money so you can afford to pay the notes on it, right? You gotta have a plan already. And not just get money just to have money in your pocket because you can get money, but then you're gonna be owing, right? If you default, now you're going backwards, right? Okay, that's the credit line hybrid program. Let's get more of that. Boom. I don't need to go through all of that. Okay, so that's about alternative funding, right? So alternative funding also, I want to add on to that before we end this segment. That alternative funding, right? So most people that got a business, what they do is go to the bank, try to get a loan, right? I want to get a business loan. I got a business, we're legit, right? But you need what I call the 3 C's to get approved: credit, cash flow, and collateral. When you go to a bank, they definitely gonna look at all 3 of that stuff to determine whether or not they can qualify you. If you got all those 3, then you could possibly qualify for an SBA loan, which is the best place that you can get money for your business, SBA. But a lot of people can't qualify for that, right? So if you got all 3 of them, you could possibly qualify for an SBA loan. If you got 2 of them, the 3 C's, then you could possibly qualify for a term loan. If you got 1 of them, credit, cash flow, collateral, there's money you can get. There's money out there that you can get. The bank ain't gonna touch you, but there is money out there because these alternative funding options, there are companies out there that said, of those people that went to the bank that got denied, 80% of them got denied. They're trying to get that access to that business. So they have these alternative funding options. The credit line hybrid, that's one, right? There are companies that just do loans to businesses for equipment. So that could be machinery to do what your business is. It could be trucks. Trucks are equipment, right? That's why I learned this business credit, because my client was buying trucks, tractor trailers with business credit. That's why I learned this, right? So there are different things, different programs to fund you. You don't have to go to the bank all the time, right? If you go to the bank, you get an SBA loan. That's the best place. Okay, bring up the master class, right? So, any questions on anything we talked about so far? Y'all look good? All right, cool. Anybody on in the Zoom got any questions? You can open up your mic. This is your chance. Open up your mic. What's up? Say something. All right. What time is it now?
153.
1:53. Good. So we're about ahead of schedule. All right, let's take a 2-minute break. 2-minute break. All right, I'm just gonna grab something to drink. All right. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about business credit. And before we start talking about business credit, I'm gonna tell you how I even started knowing about business credit. So, I went to school for accounting. I had a client, he had a freight company, right? I'm doing accounting at his freight company. Okay. And I also did websites for him. And I noticed every time I did a website, it was either for one of his companies or one of his clients. And they were setting up their business. And I would do the website. And then I noticed because I'm doing the books, $250,000 hit the bank. So I said, hey, I could use, I would have made some money. Can you find something for me to do? He said, do this. Find a company, and we're gonna do a deal with the company, and you can make some money on the deal. So I called up my man Philly Phil. Philly Phil had a company he was just sitting on, wasn't doing nothing. He said, all right, let's try it. I showed him what I was seeing, right? He said, okay, let's try it, right? So Philly Phil had a company, brand new. We did the setup, right? I'm gonna show you how to set up the company. We was doing the setup. We did the setup 6 months later. We walked into Chrysler and came out of there with 4 brand new Sprinter vans. Okay? EIN only. That's how I know business credit works. But this guy, he was shady, right? So the freight guy, he was shady, all right? So just some extra stuff. This is the bonus. So I found out what he was doing. He had 2 companies set up, right? He had the freight company set up, then he had a company that was set up as a truck sales company, right? So he would qualify himself for an equipment loan to buy trucks, right? He'll get the approval, 250. When the check comes to pay for it, because they send you the check, so you give them the equipment loan lenders, you give them an invoice of the trucks that you want to buy. Then when they approve you, they give you the check so you go buy it. So the checks come in, I'm the accountant, I'm seeing the checks. And then he would just deposit it to himself and the other company. Now he was shady. So these companies were set up not even in his name. He was paying somebody for their credit. So it looks like these companies got good credit, right? And that's how he's getting qualified. He put the money in and don't even pay the bills on them. Because with a company, after a while, if you don't pay the bill, then they only come for the assets of the company. They're not coming for you personally, and his name ain't even on it. So he's just getting free money. And then I'm realizing what he was doing. Now, I didn't want to do all the shady stuff. That's why I teach how to build business credit for real. And he was doing the shortcut. And because he was doing the shortcuts, I realized that doing it for real, you can do it for real, right? But a lot of people don't know how to do the steps, right? They didn't know how to set up the company right and position the company so it could get these type of loans, right? So that's what I teach. How to build credit and set up your business so you can do it for real and not in shortcuts, like Homeboy was doing, right? Okay, so we're gonna talk about, go to the next slide. This is one of the titles of one of my websites. This is the master class. Business credit master class. Oh, I got the thing. Okay. Y'all already got that info. Oh, that's the contact info. All right. Now, so that you know more about me, I was raised in New York. I went to Morehouse, studied accounting. I had a few corporate accounting jobs. You know about my business, my accounting firm is MediaNet USA. And now I talk about business credit, all right? Okay, what we will cover today, how you can get business credit within 7 days or less that's linked to your EIN, not your social, even if you're a starter or have bad personal credit now. Then immediately start using it to get credit you want and need, even from major sources like Target, Walmart, Staples, Lowe's, Visa, MasterCard, and more. How you can access loans, even as a starter, have credit challenges, or lack collateral. All right. Most people try to get money from the bank when they need money. Most don't know that EIN credit can be built regardless of personal credit quality. Many apply for credit in the wrong order. So, building business credit is a step-by-step process. Each step is needed for the next step. So you can't skip steps, right? Each step I'm telling you, you need it so you can succeed on the next step. All right. Many entrepreneurs don't know that money is available based on business strengths. I told you all about that already. The three C's: credit, and that means personal credit and business credit. Because if you're applying as a business, they want to know that, just like if you're a person, that they want to know that you pay bills on time. As a business, they want to know that you pay bills on time also. Okay? And they can look at your business credit and don't have to ask you permission. And when they deny you, they don't have to tell you why they denied you. Okay? Cool. Okay, the seminar is for you if you're looking for money to start or grow a business, or if you want business credit that's not linked to your social. Business credit that is obtained in a business name. All right, that's what business credit is. Business credit is credit that is obtained in a business name. With business credit, the business builds its own credit profile and credit score for its EIN number. You can't build business credit without an EIN number. This credit is in the business name and based on the business's ability to pay, not the business owner's ability to pay. The business can qualify for a revolving store credit cards like Staples, Lowe's, Sampler, Costco, and more. Okay, why business credit is awesome. Business credit has no effect on your personal credit unless you let it, right? So if you build business credit correctly, you can build it and not touch your personal credit at all. Now, having personal credit gives you more options. That means you're more fundable. Okay, how you doing? Come on in. So business credit building is fast. It's faster than personal credit because personal credit is 5 things that affect your personal credit. Right? There's 5 things that affect your personal credit. With business credit, there's only one thing that affects it: how you pay your bill. Okay. There's no personal guarantee needed. With business credit, you can offset current expenses. Okay. Like a truck driver, you got a card, a gas card, go do his run, make the money, and then pay the gas, right? So you want to offset with your business. You want to offset. You want to operate your business with credit accounts, so you can operate your business. So a business already in existence should already have business credit. It's built into the operation. Okay. Okay. You can, with business credit, you can increase your approval amounts with better rates and terms. So what that means is when you're a business and you have business credit, when you apply for a loan, a lender, knowing that you normally pay bills on time, they give you more money and give you better rates. Okay, that's what business credit can do for you. It's not the end all. Just because I got business credit, I'm going to get this loan. It helps you get more money and better terms. Okay. No collateral, cash flow, or good credit is needed to build business credit. And once you got business credit, you have access to loans and credit lines. Okay. Every successful business in America has business credit. So if your business is existing, you should have credit built in. All right. And this is how business is done. Okay. What you're looking at now is what anybody can see for free. All right. Anybody can see this for free. You go to the Experian, got a page where you can put your business name and address in, and this information will come up. All right. This is for Facebook. They're in Menlo Park, California. Now, the piece that I want to bring to your attention is the trade line. Okay. You see that? Trade lines. They got 40 trade lines. So let's go over what a trade line is. You probably know what a trade line is already, but I want to make sure we go over what a trade line is because this is the basis for building business credit, the trade lines. Okay, so this is what a trade line is. You go to a company, you get an account or credit account, which means now you can buy something on credit, which means you get an item and they give you an invoice that tells you when to pay, right? So when you pay that invoice, this is what happens. When you pay the invoice, they send a report to the business reporting agency. The report says XYZ company, they got an account with us. Their limit is X amount of dollars. They made a purchase and they paid it off in X amount of days. And they send that report to the business credit reporting agency and they put that on your business credit profile. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is one trade line, right? That's one trade line. Now you can make more transactions with that company and they call that experiences. The more positive experiences, the better your credit is going to be for your business, okay? So what we want to do is get as many trade lines as possible, right? And then the more experiences that we have, that's going to build up on our business credit, okay? Now this one's for Microsoft. They got 131 trade lines. For Walmart, 80% of all the money that they take in comes from business credit. 80% of all the money they take in. Okay? So what Walmart will do is they'll go to Bounty and say, yo, Bounty, let me get a truckload of toilet paper. Now the owner of Walmart don't go in his pocket and pay for it. He don't call the accounting department and tell them to write a check. The toilet paper shows up at the store. They put it on the shelf. We buy it. They take our money and pay the bill. And then Bounty says, hey, here's 5 truckloads. Now flip that. Okay? It's the same. It's the same thing for a big company and a small company, even at the corner store. When the bread delivery comes in, they're not paying for that bread right there. They're counting how many units came in, how many units went out. I'm not telling you or nothing you don't even know. Sometimes you just gotta hear it a different way to understand. Y'all already know this stuff, okay? All right. How we can help? We have the Lindavo system, which is brand new. Our brand new Lindavo system is powered by artificial intelligence. We show you how to make your business credible in the eyes of the lender. Our high-tech software, powered by artificial intelligence, helps you build your business credit to access high-limit store credit, business loans, and credit lines. We work with all legitimate types of funding programs that are available today, offering funding through hundreds of investors and lenders through a multitude of different funding programs, okay? There's a video that you can see at businesscreditbuilder.us/Lindavo. Okay, how do you build business credit? All right, let's talk about building business credit. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Okay, as a business owner, you may be getting to hear the word fundability a lot. It may come from lenders, various media platforms, or your own current creditors. What is fundability? The ability of your business to get funding. When lenders consider funding your business, does it appear to them to be a good idea to make the loan? What do they look at to make that determination? That's the most important deal with getting funded, is how they look at your company and in viewing your company just from looking at it, which is basically the stuff on the application, okay? So how does a business become fundable? When a lender considers lending to your business, do they feel that you are high risk? Do you appear to be a business that can and will pay the debt? Lenders are in it for the money. You already know. So you don't have to actually be a credible business. You just have to appear to be a credible business. Okay? To start, you have to make sure your business is set up properly. And the setup of your business is the most important piece. Of all the steps, I'm getting ready to tell you all the steps of building business credit. This is the most important step. It's the easy thing. It's the real simple stuff. That's the most important. Okay? All right. Okay. A potential creditor may see that your business is they need to see that your business is legitimate and profitable. Many loan applications are denied approval due to fraud concerns. Others simply because something didn't match up or threw up a red flag. Maybe the address or the phone numbers didn't match up on a couple of reports, and it just looks unprofessional. If you understand what fundability is and how to get it, you can shut down any such red flags before they cause you a problem. And the red flags are crucial because they don't have to tell you why they denied you. And it's all on this application. So the first step in applying for a loan for your business is this application, which I call the smell test. They just sniffing you out to see whether or not it looks like you can be able to qualify. If you get through the smell test and get no red flags, then they forward your application to the underwriting department to get you qualified. The application just to look you over and see if you look like you might be able to qualify. Okay? That's why it's so important. So these are the key things, right? The key things that you need to set up right. The business name. Y'all already know this stuff. Register at the Secretary of State, right? Register your name as Secretary of State. You got to select the business address. There are 3 options in selecting your business address. The first option is to have a brick and mortar. That's the first option, but that's expensive. But you definitely need a place that you can accept packages. The second option is to have a virtual home, a virtual address. All right. A lot of my clients use the virtual address because they don't want to use their home address because your business address is public information. So a lot of people use the virtual address because they don't want the world to know where they got the kids at and all that stuff, personal, right? So a lot of my clients get the virtual office, which you get as low as $50 a month. And that's crucial, right? The last resort is to use your home address. But it's good to know that some lenders do not perceive businesses to be credible that work from home, but they do that at a case by case basis, right? So some businesses you might be a hairstylist and you're doing hair from the house. All they really want to know is if you're going to pay the bill. So if you're doing hair from the house, maybe that's okay. They're looking for the fraud situation, right? So like, let's say you're a trucking company and you got all these trucks, but it's not feasible for you to have all these trucks at the house. So that's a red flag to them, right? And on top of that, on your Dun & Bradstreet credit report is a Google Maps picture of your business address. They deciding whether or not they're gonna give you this money, and they're looking at your front door. Okay, that's some stuff that they're going through in their mind. Does this make sense? Right? Okay, so you gotta make it make sense. Okay, phone number. You gotta have a local telephone number that's listed with the National 411 directory. You can do that by going to listyourself.net, right? That's a must. That's one of the first things they're gonna be looking at on the application. On the application, there's different fields, right? Every field that they're asking information, they're doing something. In the phone part, what they're doing, they're looking up a database of all the telephones, all the cell phones, and all the home lines. And if your number messes up to one of them, they can deny you. They don't have to tell you why. Okay, so you need a local number that's dedicated and is listed with the National 411 directory. And not all phone carriers do that. You can't have a cell phone number as your main business. You can operate your business through a cell phone, but on that application, you need to have the separate number that's listed with the National 411 directory. And when you do that, it also attaches the address, which needs to line up with the Secretary of State. Okay? That's crucial, that telephone. So having an 800 number and having a fax number is useful, but not necessary. So how it goes is you got that main number on the application, they're gonna check it. Check. We check that off. Now you got a fax number and you got an 800 number. Now you're looking like you're actually doing some business. How you doing? Sign on in and have a seat. Okay, so now you're looking like you're operating a business. You got a fax number. You got your name listed. You got an 800 number. Now you're looking like you're doing something. All right. EIN number. You know you need an EIN number. I'm not going to talk much about the EIN number, but I'm going to tell you 2 things that you need to know. 1, you can't build business credit without an EIN number, and 2, it's free. So don't come to me talking about you even paid for an EIN number. Don't do it, right? Y'all already know. DUNS number. You need a DUNS number. DUNS number is an identifying number at Dun & Bradstreet, one of the business credit reporting agencies, right? It's an identifying number. That's all it's doing. So some applications will have a place that says, put your DUNS number here. What that means is this company probably reports to Dun & Bradstreet, and when they got your DUNS number, they know exactly what file to put this information when they send it in. When you make a payment, they're going to send it in. They know exactly where to send it. The other business credit reporting agencies, they don't do that well. They assign you a number, right? Okay. You need a website. You need a website for your business. And it can't be one of those free websites. You need to have yourbusiness.com. And when they will go and search for your business, they're gonna go right on Google and put your business name in. And you want them to be able to find your business. Right? And when they do find your website, they're gonna skip that pretty website, the pretty homepage, and they're gonna go straight to the contact page, and they're gonna look at the business name, the telephone number, the address, the email, and make sure it matches up to what you already put on the application. Now they're trying to slip up. They're trying to catch you slipping right now, okay? They're trying to catch you slipping, all right? And you need a business email. So when you get this website, you get a website with your domain URL. You don't communicate with lenders through a free email service. They don't want to see that. Okay, that's just common sense stuff. The lender, they want to see that you're doing business with your website, right? So they at least know that they coming from that company. If it's a free email, you can be anybody, right? So you don't want to give them any reason to give you a red flag. You want everything to be lined up and make it look like you straight up, right? And this is all simple stuff, right? But it's way important. A lot of people slip up with some of this stuff thinking it's not important, right? Whew, it's way important. All this little stuff is way important. Okay, so business phone number, fax number, toll free, address. Okay, this is my go-tos for getting your telephone number. Each one of these companies will set up your telephone number for your business. Freedom Voice, Ring Central, Volumes. But my go-to is Freedom Voice. They're gonna give you a local number for $9.95 a month. They're gonna list it with National 411 for $3 a month. So you gotta at least spend $13 a month. They're gonna add on a fax number and an 800 number for under $20 a month. All right, and you gotta have that.
So with the Freedom Voice, do we still go to the National 411, or we just start with that and that'll do all?
That's right. All right. Here's a bonus. When you set up for this Freedom Voice, it's a 2-step process. You sign up for that local number. Now you got your account set up, right? And then you got to call back and add the National 411 service to be listed for $3. A lot of people skip that and they mess up, right? Ring Central and Volume, they're gonna start you at $25 a month. Freedom Voice, you get all in there for under $20 a month. Okay. Virtual office. address. Remember I told you about the virtual office address? Most of my companies, most of my clients use a virtual office address. My go-to is DaVinci because they're gonna set you up a unique address. See, there's a lot of virtual office companies that will give the same address to hundreds of companies. You don't want that. Okay? You need a unique address. And what DaVinci does, what do I do? What DaVinci does is what I do. DaVinci sends a report to the post office. They send the form to the post office, and they issue you a unique address. So when you go to DaVinci, if you go to this website right here, businesscreditbuilder.us/vendors, you'll see a telephone number, a person that asked for, and there's some verbiage so you can tell her exactly what product. But you're also gonna tell them that I sent you, and then she's gonna know exactly what to set you up for, right? Okay, so she'll be able to set you up for as low as $50 a month. All right. DaVinci Virtual Office Solutions. Okay, EIN number, we talked about that. Incorporate. All right, we talked about incorporation. But what I want to tell you more about incorporation is that when you incorporate, they're going to ask you to select an entity. What you need to know is that if you select a proprietorship or a partnership, then you are personally liable for anything that happens with this business. So it's best to select a limited liability corporation, LLC, or a corporation. All right. Your accountant will tell you which one is best to do. But I can tell you off the top of my head, the difference in the two, one of the differences in the two, LLC and a corporation, is when you do an LLC, you're going to file your profits, your taxes on your 1040 form through the Schedule C, right? Which a Schedule C is like your business income part of your tax return. So on your tax return, you got stuff you got from the W-2, you work the job. But then if you had a business, you do the Schedule C, right? The Schedule C. So that's how the money from a LLC is reported. With a corporation, it's a whole separate form. It's not connected to you personally at all. It's the 1120. That's how you file your taxes as a corporation on the 1120. All right. Now, once you got your EIN number and the certificate from the Secretary of State, you want to run to the bank and start a bank account. You don't walk, you run to the bank, because the longer your bank is in existence, the better your chances of getting a loan. So you don't want to set up your company and then wait 5 years to set up your bank account. All right. All right. So you need a bank account, separate bank account, so you can track your business finance separate from your personal. Okay. You want to keep that separate. A lot of times, you get a loan, they won't even give you a loan if you don't have a business bank account, right? And a lot of times, they want to know what's going through your business bank account. All right. So most vendors and lenders require a business to have a business bank account in order to get approved. Licenses. What is fundability? It is being a legitimate business. So the most common mistake is having your license. Let's say you're a plumber. You know you got to have a license to be a plumber. A lot of people got an old address on their license. They deny you, and they don't have to tell you why they denied you.
Was the connection lost?
Of a reference, okay? Now, while you may not be able to access or change the data on these agencies that they have on your business, but you can ensure that any new information they receive is positive. And the positive information can help counteract any negative information from the past. Identification numbers. In addition to the EIN number, there are identifying numbers that also go along with your business credit reports. When considering what fundability is, you need to be aware that these numbers exist. Some of them are simply assigned by the agency, like the Experian business identification number. So Dun& Bradstreet, you have to apply for that DUNS number. When I told you about the DUNS number, it's an identifying number for Dun& Bradstreet. Now, Experian and Equifax, they don't issue the number for you. You don't have to apply. They issue it automatically upon your first trade line being reported to them. Okay. And the key thing to know is on Experian, if you if you got something from a company that reports to Experian and you had it shipped to a address other than your main address, then they're gonna make another Experian BIN number. It's not gonna be on the right BIN number. So you might not even see that trade line on your credit report. And what you know is like these vendors, when they send that report, they don't do that well because that's an after the sale transaction. They already got your money. They not spending that money. They're not spending much money on that after the sale stuff. So you might not that trade line might not hit your credit. That's why it's good to have somebody to help you read your credit reports to determine if these trade lines actually hit your credit report. Okay? And it's not easy to read the credit reports because they don't say, oh, this is Home Depot, oh, this is Lowe's, right? It says, this is Home and Garden, and you got a trade line, you got a, such and such a limit, and you pay on time. That's what it said. So you have to do process of elimination to determine what's on there. Okay? So that's where having a consultant like me helps, think this through. You can do this on your own, but having a consultant like me, we help you smooth over the speed bumps along the way. Okay? You can do it on your own, but it's gonna take you some time to figure it out if you don't know something's coming up. Like that address at the Experian. See, I found that out when I first learned about that. I was looking for my trade line on the credit report. I didn't see it. So then after talking to my advisors, I figured they told me, well, look at the ship to address on the invoice. And then that's how we found out that they made a whole nother credit profile. You see? So there's stuff that you can't even think what would happen. You won't even think that to even look at it this way, right? Okay. Personal credit. So I only got this page up here because you can build business credit without having personal credit. But I just want to let you know that if you have good personal credit, you're more fundable. You're able to get more funding. Okay. Okay. Experian. That's the personal credit places, right? So if you ask a company who they report to when they say TransUnion, that's not the one that's gonna help your business, right? Or you got the wrong application. You need the business application, right? Okay. Align your business information correctly. I told you this is the most important piece of this whole thing. Is aligning your business information. You see how long it took me to do this section? That's how important it is. Let's skip that. But this is the fundability chart. See, all of this stuff that you can't even see affects your business credit. Okay? From the stuff on the left, all the stuff that affects your credibility. The industry that you're in affects how much money you can get. Yeah. Your business name, your business address, the time in business affects your ability to get access to money. Your entity, your EIN number, your website, all of that stuff affects how fundable you are. The application process, financial statements, business credit reports, all right? All of that affects how fundable you are. Anybody got any questions on all of this? Because so far we covered how to make your business credible in the eyes of the lender. We talked about the business credit reporting agency. And it took a long time to do that. And that's the most important piece of this whole. These next steps, remember I said, each step is needed for the next step. See, without having your stuff credible, we can't do the next step we're getting ready to do. And now we're gonna actually do some business credit. Now we're gonna actually do something, okay? We didn't talk all this time, and now we're gonna actually do something, okay? So now we're gonna get credit from companies even when we have no credit. We're gonna get these net 30 accounts, which means they're gonna give us a little bit of credit, And when we get something on credit, we got to pay off the total balance in 30 days. Hence the term net 30. A business credit can be started much the same as a consumer report commonly is with small amounts of credit. So your business is just starting, right? We set up the business. Now we don't ever have a business credit profile yet. Now we're gonna create a business credit profile. I'm gonna show you how to do it, right? A business can be approved for small credit amounts to help them build an initial credit profile. These types of credit accounts in the business world are commonly referred to as vendor credit or net 30 accounts. And some vendors will approve your company for net 30 payment terms upon verification of as little as an EIN number and a 411 listing. I told you about the importance of those two things, right? All right. So here are some vendors who will approve you for initial credit even if you have none now. Okay? CEO Creative, check that one out. See if you qualify for that. JJ Gold, that's a must starter joint. JJ Gold. Coast to Coast Office Supply. Uline, Granger. Okay? These are a good first start, right? And you have to have a company that's going to give you credit when you have no credit, and they have to be able to report. Only 10% of all companies in the United States are even able to report because they're under high guidelines and restrictions to even be able to report. So it's hard to find me, okay? And my list of these, they change. So this list I got today is a different list that I had 6 months ago because they change up. So my staff at, I told you I'm like a franchise. So my staff at the company, they're always looking for these companies. And we already have the underwriting guidelines for them before you apply. So if you do this on your own, you'll be calling somebody and be like, okay, how can I qualify? They're gonna say, well, fill out this application, and I'll tell you if you qualify. Now you've been wasting all this time. So having a consultant like myself to help you save time, get you to the money quicker. All right? All right. So boom. Always apply for these without using your social. These starter vendors, these net 30 accounts, when they have a spot for your social, leave that blank. There's no law saying you got to put your social on there. But they got a place to put your EIN number. You put your EIN number there. All right? Now, if they got an application that has a place to put your social and there's no place to put your EIN number, you got the wrong application. You need the business application. Okay? Okay. 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 Dun & Bradstreet. They got the DUNS number. I told you what the DUNS number is. They also got the pay debt score. The pay debt score is what lenders look at to determine your credit worthiness. Dun & Bradstreet will not give you a pay debt score until 3 companies have reported to them. 3 separate companies. There's 3 trading lines that report to Dun & Bradstreet before they give you a pay debt score. And if those 3 companies that report to Dun & Bradstreet send a report saying that you paid on time, then your pay debt score that they give you is going to be about 76. Pay debt scores go from 0 to 100. So they're going to give you a 76. You need to be over an 80. That's the goal. So if you got 3 companies that you paid on time, they're going to give you that 76. Now you're closer to the goal where you need to be. Now you just need a couple more experiences that'll jump you up, right? That's how we do it. So you pay your net 30 vendors accounts in full and on time. You must be patient to allow time for the vendors reporting cycles to go through the system. It typically takes about 3 cycles. So that's about 90 days that you can get your business credit report set up. If somebody tells you they get your business credit set up before 90 days, they're halfway line. Okay? It's going to take you 3 months to do this piece. Your goal is to get 5. Okay? Some vendors will require you to do an initial payment. Like Uline does that. They look at your credit and you ain't got nothing on there, they're gonna say, do a couple transactions first, right? So I tell my clients, depending on like Uline, for instance, if they're somebody that could use some products at Uline, then I say go ahead and do it, right? If they're like, suppose they're a janitorial company, then they're gonna really need Uline. Because Uline sells janitorial supplies and stuff like that, right?
Is there a maximum amount that you have to use for it to be presented as professional?
Okay, I think what you're asking is this. When you get these accounts, these net 30 accounts, you need to spend at least $50. All right. Some vendors will not report unless it's $50 or more. All right. Okay. Also, here's a bonus. Some vendors will not report if you buy the item and pay for the item in the same month, in the same billing cycle. Okay, that's crucial to know because you can just be wasting time, right? you think I'm gonna get it paid right off. Now you ain't did nothing to some vendors, and you don't know which ones do that. Okay, so I got a strategy that I use for my clients. We buy the item close to the end of the month, about the 25th. Most companies report at the end of the month. So let's say we're dealing with a company that reports at the end of the month. So we buy the item on the 25th. On the 30th, when they report, we owe. All right, that's cool. But then we're gonna pay it the first week of the next month within 14 days. Because if you make that payment within 14 days, the report that they send says they paid early. If you pay between the 15th day and the 30th day, the report they send in says they paid on time. If you paid after the 30th day, you pay late. Right? So 14 days, the early joints, that's more significant to your credit score than if you paid on time, right? So you try to pay early, definitely pay on time, right?
And this goes back to the stuff when I came in, but in relation to the website, the phone, and the business email, a lot of them ask for the other when you're doing the application, right? So which one would you say would be the first one that you make sure you do, the phone number or the website or the email? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because I want to try to keep my personal as much off of it.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean?
So when I set up a company, there's a particular way to do it, right? Some stuff you do first because you don't want to go back, right? So the first thing you want to get is the address. Because when you go to Secretary of State, you want to give them the right address from the beginning. You don't want to go back and say, oh, I need to change the address. In Georgia, we charge $20 for that. Okay, so I go an address, Secretary of State, EIN number. Because the EIN number, you want to give them the right address. Also, you don't want to go back and change the address there. All right. So you got the address, Secretary of State, EIN number. You got the address now, so you go telephone number. You got your certificate back, and you got your EIN number, you get your bank account. Then you go get your DUNS number. Right. So you want to do steps that you want to go back.
I said then you could just do website and business email after. So I've done all the
Right.
stuff.
You're gonna do your website and email before you get that done. Preferred.
Yeah, I already did that. So that's why I was just trying to.
Yeah.
I just did those three things.
Yeah. You just basically you want to do something that you have to go back and change, right? Because it don't matter if it's offline. It matters if it's offline when you fill out that application. Everything needs to line up when you do that application, right? Okay, so the first goal with these net 30s is to get 5 accounts. 3 that report to Dun & Bradstreet, 1 to Experian, 1 to Equifax, right? That's the optimal way to start, right? For you can get to the money quicker. 3 to Dun & Bradstreet because it's going to get you that payday score, okay? After 5 trade lines are established using vendor accounts, obtaining revolving accounts is the next step. Revolving accounts are cards a business owner can use and not be required to pay the full balance owed each month. This is where you want to be in the revolving accounts, all right? But you can't skip over them net 30s and just go to the, you need to go to them net 30s first. Because these revolving accounts, they need you to have credit already. Okay? Most stores will not approve a business owner for business credit unless the owner has an established credit profile and score, just like in the consumer world. Oh wow, strange. Hard too. Vendor accounts must be used to establish a profile and score. Then store credit can be obtained. It usually takes about 90 days. I'll tell you all that already. Okay. Okay, so here goes some revolving accounts. These are all the accounts that you know. This is where you want to be at, right? Home Depot, Lowe's, Office Depot, Staples, Best Buy, Walmart, Sam's Club, Costco, Amazon, Dell, Apple, BP, Chevron, Racetrack. There's a whole bunch of these, right? And some businesses, all they need is a couple of these to start operating, right? Like you might only need a Home Depot card and a Best Buy, right? You might just get that wood, finish that job, and go get paid, then pay the bill, right? Some people, that's what they need just to get started, right? So you gotta understand, with getting funding for your business, it's not all the time. It's not get one lump sum. It's like figuring out what you need to buy and figuring out how to finance, right? So it's not getting that. You might not get that lump sum. A lot of people say, "Yeah, I need about 100,000. Yeah, that'll do it." Okay. Store revolving credit must be obtained before business owner can start getting Visa, MasterCard, Amex. So the first goal is get those 5 net 30s. Then we get 5 revolving. Now we can go and get some credit cards for real. Okay. Now we got some credit. When you got on your credit 10 trade lines that you paying on time, that's telling the lender this business pays bills. And that's what you want, right? Just like with your personal credit, right? When you go buy a car, they want to see your credit. They pay their bills on time. Do you got your down payment? That's the cash flow. You got a down payment, right? Do you have income coming in? That's the job, right? So personally, the business is doing the same thing, right? So you got to position your business right. All right. Once 10 accounts on the credit, an owner can then start applying for a Visa, MasterCard, Amex type credit. Approval amounts will be equivalent to the highest credit limit account on the business reports. Try to have 10 accounts with at least one of them having a high $10,000 high limit. So what you do when you get these revolving accounts, you want to use one of these revolving accounts more often than the other. What I do is I get a revolving account. I make 3 on-time payments and then call and ask for an increase. So you ask for an increase because on your credit report it's going to say what the limit is. So what would you think? How they view a person that got $1,000 limit compared to somebody that got $10,000 limit? So you want to continue to ask them for increase, right? And they'll tell you, some of them say, well, we don't do increases until 6 months. But now you know, in 6 months, I'm calling them back, get me an increase, right? So you want to keep on getting them increased. It's essential to keep using the credit, keep applying for more, and talk with credit providers to raise credit limits. So also when they're looking at this credit report, they're looking to see that you got these 10 accounts, that you're operating your business with credit. They want to see that. Right? Just like when you buy a house, they want to see your mix. They want to see that you got a car note, that you got a credit card, the different things. It's the credit mix, right? It's the same thing with business. They want to see that you're operating your business with credit. Oh, they got an office supply. They get their wood from their home and garden. You see what I'm saying? That's how they operate their business. That's looking good, right? So if you do this, credit will keep growing until higher, till higher credit limits, credit lines are obtained within 6 to 12 months. So people ask, how long does it take to build business credit? Everybody does this stuff at a different pace. It's I created a new word, administrativeness, right? So it's about your administrativeness about you, right? It's how you get an account, make a purchase, pay it, pull the credit reports, all stuff you already do. It's nothing new. It's just good to know for your business. Okay. No skipping steps. 10 trade line. High limit of 10. Cash business credit accounts will match your highest credit limits reported on your credit profile. MasterCard, Visa, American Express. You get access to loans and credit lines when you got business credit. Okay. We're gonna go through. I'm gonna skip all that. This is what we're gonna do. 3 ways to get funding your bank won't tell you about, because the bank don't do this. Now, some of this stuff you may not qualify for now, right? Or you may qualify, but I go over them so that you can have an understanding, the thinking process of how to think about funding your business, right? So there's 3 ways. Cash flow finance. This is the most popular way that businesses get money, but it's not for everybody. This is for businesses that are existing, that they are existing businesses, they got cash flow, and they got a problem. And all businesses have a problem every now and then. Something happens. You might need to get payroll Friday. You might have a piece of equipment that went down, and now you need to replace this equipment like right now. Okay, this is what they do: cash flow financing. If you have at least $3,000 in deposits in your bank, they're gonna go in your bank and they're gonna see your deposits, and they're gonna give you a loan based on that. All right. Really, they want to see you having $10,000 every month going in there. But they'll give you a little bit of money if you got at least $3,000. So this is even good for people that are like Uber drivers, independent contractors. They can get a little bit of money. But I'm gonna tell you, it's expensive. So when you get this money, you gotta flip it and be able to pay for the interest, right? So I tell them, if you get this money, it ain't gonna be, you're gonna pay it in 36 years, okay? They're gonna give you a little time, all right? They're gonna give you a little time, so you gotta be ready to flip it, all right? Okay, cash flow. All right, this is one of my lending partners, David Allen Capital. You get money from them on your telephone in 10 minutes. Depending on, they got the application. Remember I told you about the application, the smell test, right? The smell test, they got the little application, only got about 5 questions on there. But the most important is how much money you make every month. And then depending on how much money you make every month, they're gonna send you to the different lender, right? Giggle Finance, Biddy Advance, or Bank Breezy. Depending on how much you make per month, they're gonna send you to the appropriate spot. Now, they're not gonna look at you until you connect your bank account. That's what you need to know. You need to connect your business bank account. Then that's when they're gonna tell you whether or not you get approved. They're gonna tell you in 24 hours whether or not you're approved or not. And then drop the money in your account. All right? Real quick, fast. That's easy. Collateral-based financing. Collateral-based financing can be obtained if you have some viable collateral to offset what you're borrowing. All right? Even as a starter with bad credit, you can secure collateral financing if you have collateral. Okay, so here goes some types of collateral, right, that you got to think about for your business. Accounts receivable is also known as factors. So, the guy that had the freight company, right? He used factoring to fund his business. So his trucks would do the load, right? And then they'll send out an invoice to get paid for that load. They won't get that money for 30 days. But with factoring, they get the money in 24 hours. Now you can pay the drivers, pay for the gas and all this, right? So, but this is only for companies that can batch and sell their invoices. Purchase orders for businesses that have government contracts. You can't go to bait with a government contract, they're gonna laugh at you. Alternative lenders will look at a government contract and you'd be like, okay, that's a government contract. All I need is this piece of equipment, and I'm gonna get this check for this municipality. They know that check is good. See, alternative lending, okay? Government contracts, stocks, bonds, 401ks. If you have investments and that type of stuff, your investments stay intact. Like for example, 401ks, you get a business loan based on what you can pull out of your 401. The 401 just stays right there and do what it do. You got business money, and that money is money you already put in it. So that's like, I'm gonna use my money I already worked for and get me and start my business, right? That's how you can approach that, right? So, and they only touch it if you default on their payment. Revenue lending, an example of that is if you got a car lot and you got inventory, and every time you sell a car, you're gonna pay down the loan. That's what revenue lending is. Inventory and equipment. If you have $100,000 in equipment or inventory, you get a business loan. If you have equity in your home, you get a business loan. Okay? If you're an insurance agent, they have what they call a book of business. That's their list of clients. You can get a loan on that. Okay? There are different ways to get a loan, just other than just going to the bank. Okay, this is the third. This is the third one. I already talked to y'all about this one. The credit line hybrid program is unsecured. So you got to have the 685 personal credit. Right? Then they're gonna match your highest revolving account up to 150,000 in 3 weeks. So this is good for startup businesses with good personal credit. You go to this website, businesscreditbuilder.us/credit-line-hybrid, or just go to get funding. And there's an application you can apply for that right then and then. And when you fill out the application, somebody's gonna call you in 24 hours and tell them you can go through the details about the credit card you're gonna get and all this stuff, whether or not you qualify and all that stuff, right? They're gonna tell you, they're gonna give you good customer service on that, all right? 24 hours. Any questions? We good? All right, make sure you get your free guide by going to businesscreditbuilders.us. There's a free guide, then you get in my email list and I give out a whole bunch of information. So I got social media, go to the website, click on the social media you like. The blog is businesscreditbuilder.us/blog. And the blog got like a whole bunch of articles, like a whole bunch of articles, okay, that teaches you a lot of different stuff. It's really good to go into and check out.
Somebody in the Zoom asked for the email.
The email is Noel, Noel, at businesscreditbuilder.us. Yeah. Yep. Noel at businesscreditbuilder.us. And how was today's presentation? Some of y'all was here for the whole thing. We talked about QuickBooks. We talked about lending options. And we talked about business credit.
What time was, I got, my email said it started from two, it was from 2 to 3.
Right. So I had three posted, right, to come in. But then I had one posted for online that was like the whole thing. So the first one we did was QuickBooks training. Then I talked about business funding options. And we're gonna do the same format in 1 month on August 18th. And you can go to my website, businesscreditbuilder.us, and find the events page to see what the ones that's coming up, right? So yeah.
This was from all that I've done was great, because I didn't even think about some of this stuff. I did most of it, but
There's some details
Yeah.
most people don't really look at. It's basic stuff, you
Yeah.
know. It's just getting the common sense view of it and what the lenders are looking at, right? The most important piece is how you set up your business and that application, getting everything for the application right. But then after that, it's strategy. You strategize. Which vendors are gonna help me? Which vendors I can skip over, you know what I mean? And position yourself to get qualified for your situation. Thanks for coming, young lady. Yeah, and that's what it is. A lot of strategy involved, you know. So having a consultant help you smooth over the bumps along the way. And that's simple.
Somebody in the Zoom asked, we should go to the website to find out about the future events, correct?
Yes, go to the events page under resources tab in the website. The resources tab in the website. Yeah. And the Lindavo. Okay, what time is it?
303.
3:03. Damn, I was on time like a mug today. A lot of times I'll go over that master class, I'll go over like a whole half hour over. And I realized that going too long wasn't good. You gotta compact it, you know. So I hope I ain't wasting time. I hope it's cool. I know I'm a little rough around the edges. I ain't the perfect guy up here in the suit and shit. Yeah. And we do this regularly on different topics we talk about, you know, to help small businesses get to the next step, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you
So I
so
hope to
much.
see y'all on my consultation my one-on-one programs or whatever, you know. Or if you have more questions, I got you. You know, I don't mind, you know, people just reaching out and having questions, you know. So it's all good, you know. So a lot of people don't share the information that they have, right? I share the information and just trust that God's gonna hook me up later.
That's right. Continue to be a blessing to others and be blessed.
Right, exactly. That's right. So I don't mind. Some people will be like, no, I ain't gonna share that information. I'm gonna keep that for myself, you know. But I like when people like take something and then they come back, yo, I did this, that, and the other. You know what I mean? So that gives me joy to know that I helped somebody along the way, right? Even if it's just a little piece they didn't know, you know, and they go on and they can use the information. or go on to learn more stuff, right? All right, and this is my son, my helper for the day. Usually I'm out here today. If I didn't have him, I would have been lost. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for coming. Make sure y'all sign in, got your name on the thing. All right, thank y'all for coming. Mhm.
I just started. I spoke to them, but,
Okay. What business you got?
I'm a realtor and I'm an insurance agent.
Okay.
And, we're live streaming now, it's called Work Wednesday.
Okay.
So I was interested to see if that would be something that you would be interested in, being a special guest.
Oh yeah, I like doing stuff like that.
Oh, perfect. So I'll send you an email.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's do
because
that.
I just got that started the last month or two, but I've had like 2 mortgage lenders on there because people don't really know. They have all these myths that been told to them and they're like, I'm gonna buy a house, and they just keep waiting. And so I just wanna help educate, just like you're doing. It's like,
Right.
it's gonna hopefully lead to, some trust and some, sales, right? But if I can help people be more educated, then I become that trusted individual
That's right.
to provide that information and then help provide it home. So, because I come from a background, social service, 20-something years.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is a big transition for me.
Yeah.
And nobody I knows knew, like, well, what do I do? So then somebody told me, oh, you gotta register for that Branch Street. So I'm like, okay, so then when I got my real estate license last year, and said, okay, I'm gonna start my business and all these things and included, how do I do that? So then I got the Dun& Bradstreet, I got EIN, I got the account, mine is just, and I got the virtual address. I would do iPostal.
Okay.
You've heard of it. It's like $14.99 a month.
Okay, I heard about Boston.
Yeah,
So
I probably got the basic plan, but
with that one, you gotta make sure they give you a unique address, which I don't think they do.
they give you a suite number.
That's right. I don't think that's good.
Okay.
I don't think that's a good one.
Somebody's still on the Zoom. I think a question.
All right. How can I see
Thank you and have a good.
All right, thank you. The Zoom is still here?
Yeah.
Okay. Yo, what's up? Somebody got a question? Open up your mic. Can you open up your mic?
Hi, good
How many people was on the
afternoon.
Zoom?
Hi, this is Kim
Max 8. Wait, I don't know.
Okay.
from
Hey.
You can't.
Arizona. Hey, how are you? I can't hear you now. I can't hear you. I can't hear.
Oh, here we go. All right, bet. Let's do it.
Oh, all right. So first of all, I really enjoyed the presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I wrote your phone number down, and then I have your email. This looks like this is the website, right? Not the email, not your email address. It's the actual website, the one that ends
Okay,
in .us, right?
that's right. So the email is Noel at NOEL at businesscreditbuilder.us.
Oh, so that's the email. And what's your website?
The website is businesscreditbuilder.us. The
Uh-huh.
email is Noel
Noel
at.
at. Oh, okay,
Okay.
okay, I got it. Okay,
That's the
okay.
format for an email. Okay.
Okay, got it. Okay. All right. So the email is Noel at businesscreditbuilders.us. And then the website, I start with businesscreditbuilders.us.
Right. And that is business credit builder. There's no S.
Right. Okay. All right. Okay. No S for the email address and businesscreditbuilder.us. No
That's
S
right.
at the end. Okay. That's the website. Okay. Got it. Cause I was like, okay. There was definitely a disconnect. Okay. Thanks so much for clarifying that. So,
All right.
I definitely, I'm going on vacation in a couple of weeks. So I'm glad
Okay.
I found this event on Eventbrite. So I heard you mention earlier today that you were going to have some more events coming up virtually. Because I'm from Arizona. That's where
Okay.
I logged in from
Yeah.
Arizona.
Okay.
But I do plan on taking advantage of the events that you have coming up in September too. Because
Okay.
So I am a new business owner. I'm licensed as a registered nurse. I
Okay.
started a senior concierge business down here in Arizona,
All
launched
right.
it last month. So I followed a lot of your advice in terms of like starting up the business. I do have two credit cards already, but I need more information on building business credit because in the
Okay.
future, I plan on opening up an assisted living facility group home for seniors.
Aha. That's the
And
big,
so
that's the big move for you.
yes, exactly. So right now, I'm taking advantage of building relationships with rehab facilities, 55 plus communities, hospitals, and things like that. And I'm in the process of building rapport and relationships. And so I feel like this business, the concierge business that I'm starting now, will help set up, my business for the future in terms of the group homes because I'll already established relationships so that I can start getting those referrals.
Okay.
But I want to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
able to take out a loan for, like for example, my home. I want to be able to rent the home in the future. I want to be able to pay for my staff. So I like the option that you talked about in terms of like the hybrid, um, because what you
Your
mentioned
personal credit is good.
yeah, my personal credit is really good. So, and my goal is to pay off all my credit by next year. So, this new idea that I have was not a new idea, but it's something that I always wanted to do, and I'm gonna just step out on faith and just do it. But yes, my personal credit is good. My goal is to pay off all my personal credit cards by the no the fall of next year so that
Okay.
I'll put myself in a better funding position like you talked about. So I really learned a lot today. I really did.
I'm glad you was able to connect then.
Yes, me too. Me too. And I was just online on about 2 or 3 weeks ago, just on Eventbrite, just looking for the senior expo so that I could start networking, putting my name out there. And
Okay.
so that's how I found this event. And I was like, okay, I have some wiggle room in my schedule today, so I'm gonna make sure I sign on. And I'm glad I did because I feel like you are like a wealth of knowledge and I'm ready to like soak it up like a sponge. So
Thank
I
you.
plan to
Thank you.
connect with you on a personal,
So we
you
need to
know.
get you on the one-on-one plan.
Yes, for sure. Yes, for sure, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's why I wrote down your phone number and I got clarity in terms of your email address and the website as well. So
Right.
I
So if you
definitely
go to the website /consult, then you can schedule a time to
oh,
talk to me. And
okay. All
that'd be a
right.
good time for you and a good time for me. And we could talk about getting you
Right.
on that one-on-one plan.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, for sure, for sure. So I'm going outside the country at the end of this week. So I'll be gone for a couple of weeks, but I plan to connect with you sometime in August so that
Okay.
we could put a plan together and I could start setting myself up for next year in the fall for
You
funding for
bet.
my group home.
Now that's the kind of client I like, ready to plan for next year.
Yes, exactly. Because we're already this year almost over with. So we have to start working on
Right.
our vision for next year.
I get a lot of clients that say, "Yeah, I need $100,000 last month."
I'm definitely a planner. I'm definitely organized. I'm definitely, ready to step out on faith and make it do what it do. It's overdue.
All right, all right, all
Well,
right.
thank
Time
you
for me
so
and my
much,
son to
Noel.
pack up. All right.
Yep. All
Thank you
right.
for joining us. I'm gonna look forward to seeing you later. All right.
Absolutely. Okay. Have a wonderful day. I love
You
that East
too.
Coast accent. I'm from Chi-Town.
All right, I'm going to Chicago in August.
Oh, you're gonna have a great time.
Yeah, I'm going to the Obama Center too.
That's right. That's on the south side of Chicago. That's where I'm from, the south side of
Hell yeah.
Chicago.
All right then.
Okay,
All
you all
right.
have a good one. Thank you so much. All right,
Good
have a
seeing
great
you.
day.
Take
All
care.
right, bye-bye.
All right, let's end. And what's it say? There. Yeah, I clicked it, but then I didn't click it because I forgot to click it.